This video is brought to you by Cracks Only. The link is in the video description below to get the latest gear off their website. Whether you play football or you don't, there is something there for everybody. Straight out of LA. Check it out. Good morning, peeps. Happy Monday, 19th of February. Welcome to United View and welcome to the Morning View. We've got loads to talk about. First of all, it's a new week. It's Monday. It's the beginning of a new week. Man United have got 3 points yesterday to start the week. Get your likes in and subscribe to the channel. First things first. And secondly, before we get into any news today, I want to big every single one of you up. And you're probably thinking, why, Fleck? What did we do? Just for being an amazing community, actually. The match view yesterday and the whole match day experience yesterday, from the pre-match with me and Owen to the transition into the guys at the studio, to the post-match chat with the guys in the studio, and then over to Owen, to the reaction. And the comments yesterday, I was seeing all of you guys just getting involved, sending in your comments. Forget super chats and all them type of things. I mean, just, you know, the community on a general. You guys are absolutely smashing it. The morning shows, the last month or so, really picking up, everyone getting involved, big topics and having their say. It's just great. It's just great. And when I just look back to the vision that I had for the channel, this is what it is. UV family, says Makish. Crafty Skills says morning UV family. C-Mac says inside. Morning my people, says Relentless Res. Aslan says big up my UV Wolf gang. And Joe Blackman says good morning UV family. And I tell you what, F48 says, Owen, you look marvelous, my friend. And Flex is also there. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm sure Owen does.
Yeah, I do appreciate that. I don't know what I've done, you know what I mean? But yeah.
You look marvelous, bro.
Well, you know.
Jay says, morning. We speaking on Bruno, question mark. Well, we're going to talk about a lot. We're going to talk about a lot.
Big show today.
Big show.
Yeah.
We've got Dan Ashworth latest because it's all going off. I don't even know if you still got that one, Owen. But it's all going off.
I never had that one. That was a KG one.
Oh, was that KG one? Okay.
Yeah.
It's all going off. We've got to talk about Dan Ashworth. There's a lot going on there. Kobe Mainu. I mean, you're running out of words really already. You're running out of words already. Our front three in general, and the Rolls Royce, the Ghost, the Wraith, the Phantom, the Cullinan, Varane as well, because he was good yesterday too. And all of the things you guys want to talk about. I know there's certain players you want to talk about. I want to talk about this Ahmad thing as well. Everyone's saying drop Bruno, he's terrible. We're going to talk about Bruno. A lot of people saying Ahmad should come in instead of him in a 10. I want to talk about it all. Some people saying I'm done with Luke Shaw, fed up of the injuries. It's all going off. So there's no time to waste. Get your super chats in, get your comments in, members get your chats in, get your emojis in, and get your likes in. We're 106 already straight off the bat before we've even started. Dan Ashworth, because I tell you what, these Newcastle fans, I was in a trolling mood yesterday.
Yes.
Some of them are living on cloud cuckoo land. But what have we got first, Owen? And we'll get into it.
So Dan Ashworth is on gardening leave. Yes, it was quite a few different. It's funny how it works, isn't it? Last night there was a bit from the Daily Mail, Craig Hope. There was a bit from the Times, and then it came out the Ornhub exclusive. Dan Ashworth has been placed on gardening leave after asking to depart Newcastle United, with Manchester United interested in appointing him as their sporting director. Ashworth informed Newcastle United of his decision to leave on Sunday. So with all of these links and everything else going on, he actually officially went to Newcastle and said, I want out. I'm leaving. We had heard previously that there had been like an informal agreement. There had been informal talks, no formal approach or anything like that. But this is the first time that Ashworth actually has gone to the higher ups at Newcastle and said, I'm out. I want out. Eddie Howe was asked, of course, Thursday, Friday, as Dan Ashworth told you, that he wants to stay. And he said, no, well, definitely not now. He said that he's leaving. Now, it continues by saying the matter is complicated, though, by the 52-year-old being under contract on Tyneside, and that makes it likely that Manchester United would need to pay significant compensation to secure his services, with Newcastle United wanting £20 million for Ashworth. If Newcastle United want to stop Ashworth leaving, they will have to continue to pay him his full salary for the duration of his gardening leave, which is an important point there as well. We'll circle back to it. Manchester United, meanwhile, are willing to be patient because Ashworth is a long-term appointment and they do not want to be pressured into paying an unrealistic sum. Formal contact is yet to take place between the clubs, although that is anticipated soon. And now it's actually said, this is kind of a funny part. This came from the Times as well, saying Dan Ashworth's computer and scouting access has been blocked.
Lock him out the password. Change his password.
Newcastle want £15 million for Ashworth, or else he will be going on a 20-month period of gardening leave. Now, can I just say, Flex, actually, and before we actually, when I get to my point there, Fabrizio Romano has also tweeted this morning saying Manchester United will make formal proposal to Newcastle soon as they will try to negotiate compensation to have Dan Ashworth right now. Not easy, but talks will take place. It's over between Ashworth and Newcastle after he said yes to Manchester United project last week, as reported. Now, I think, first of all, I saw a lot of people last night going, you're not going to get him until 2026. You're not going to get him until 2026, and you're going to pay £20 million. Manchester United in the mud. Let's be realistic here. Okay. The formal negotiations haven't started, but the posturing certainly has. Newcastle, not that they're embarrassed, but they're pissed off. That's really what's going on. They hired this guy in 2022 as part of the big long-term Saudi PIF project that they had on Tyneside. And this guy, just a year and a bit into the process, has gone, actually, bigger clubs come calling. I'm off. I'm out of it. I'm going to Manchester United. And they're like, well, they're annoyed by it. But Manchester United do have a position of power in this situation because Newcastle are walking a really fine line when it comes to FFP and PSR. Now, to the point where they're even talking about they're going to have to get rid of a big player, i.e. like a Bruno Guimaraes, an Isak, someone. They're going to have to get rid of them because chances are they're not going to qualify for the Champions League this season. They've spent a lot of money and they haven't sold. And any compensation they get for Dan Ashworth will go towards that. And on top of that, a club that's struggling with PSR, are they really going to pay a guy his full salary for 18 months to sit there and do nothing, and then hire someone else to replace him? They're just not going to do that at all. So what's going to most likely happen here is compromise. Middle ground is going to be reached. Manchester United will probably pay, I wouldn't say excessive, but a larger compensation than usual for a sporting director. It might be double figures, perhaps, but it certainly is not going to be £20 million. It certainly is not going to be a case where Dan Ashworth doesn't start at Manchester United until 2026. It's going to be resolved. As Romano said, it's over. He's been locked out of his computer and all that kind of stuff. It's just a case of everyone getting what they believe to be is fair. And I think once again, it goes to show maybe a bit of credit to Jim Ratcliffe and to Dave Brailsford, because I tell you what, their kind of whispering in the ear is pretty strong, because that's 2 of 2. They've gone to Omar Barada, whispered into the ear, he's gone. They've gone to Dan Ashworth, whilst it's not signed, sealed and delivered. He said yes to United and he's gone from Newcastle United. And this is happening fast. So I think this will be resolved this week. What say you, Flex?
I think it's been crazy, some of the discussions online regarding this, to even think that, like you said, both parties would go about this in that way, i.e. Man United going, all right, we'll just pay you 20 million since that's what you're asking for. And Newcastle saying, no, well, we'll just pay him for sitting on his ass then. Fine. It's up to you. If you don't pay the 20 million, we're going to give it to him instead. we're going to let him
jeopardize ourselves, because we can't actually really afford to do that.
And then we won't have a sporting director for 18 months, that's 2 years, or we'll pay 2 at the same time. We'll do that. We will do. I tell you what we'll do. We'll do that. And you know what? I'm glad that during the summer I spent a lot of time sort of having to cover Newcastle quite intensely, actually, with the transfer stuff I was doing at Sky, to get a real, not like, oh, I've heard they've got PSR issues. You know, like when you're a casual fan of, like, when you're a neutral, you kind of read a headline here or there and you go, oh, I heard that they've got this, or because we don't really care that much. But because of my role during Sky, during the transfer window, I was tasked with having to look into it properly. And part of doing
January.
that,
particularly
literally right now, their current state of affairs,
Yeah.
literally only last month, which has not changed. And I was tasked with sort of touching in with some of the guys who cover Newcastle intently. Actually, Keith Downey. And Keith Downey is, if you don't know who he is, check him out on Twitter. My guy, big up to Keith. He is the Sky Sports North East reporter, and he is across anything to do with Newcastle, Sunderland, etc., and knows his Newcastle stuff inside out. And he's a Newcastle fan as well. It's no secrets, I'll say that. And I've spoken to him and been on shows with him as well, where he's really gone in as to where Newcastle are at. And I've learned a lot from his coverage, and obviously watching sort of the Darren Neal's interview, which is Newcastle's CEO. I watched it from start to finish and sort of got a feel for exactly what he's saying versus what he's not saying. And this Newcastle PSR thing is not no little like, oh yeah, they might just run into a cup. No, they can't do anything right now. They have all this money and they can't spend it. To give you a little bit of an insight, Newcastle's revenue for the year 22-23 was 250 million, right? 250 million. The next team up was Spurs at 444 million. The last time they put their figures in, they didn't even put this year's figures in yet. 444 million. And that's Spurs. Man United and Arsenal and what's the faces? City, obviously. You know, City are pushing 750. You know, United not far off, you know, even though we've been shit, but we're Man United. You get my gist. So basically what they're saying is for Newcastle to break into this top six and be a self-sustaining club and really like keep themselves there, their revenue is way off. And they've spent a lot of money quite quickly and got good probably too quickly in such a short space of time. And now their hands are tied, which is a natural ceiling. It's got pros and it's got cons. It means you're doing a really good job, but it also comes with, it just proves that in the modern day, you can't just become rich overnight and spend all this money.
Yeah,
which
it's not a case of them not having the money, because they do, of course, have the money, but they can't spend it. But they can't spend it. Exactly.
So for us to come in and say we want their sporting director, Newcastle cannot afford to put Dan Ashworth on gardening leave for like 2 years.
18 months, 2 years. 18 months. Yeah.
Literally, where he'd just be jamming. Just chilling, literally just chilling. And I'd have to keep paying him all this money because we might say, well, we'll wait then. We'll call your bluff and you wait. But also, we can't just go and just say, well, we can, but it'd be quite stupid to because we know the situation they're in. All right, we'll just pay it. Do you know what I mean? But I agree with you. We will have to pay somewhat of a bit of a substantial fee for a sporting director. But my pushback on that is the money we would save by actually having someone competent in by the summer, that could save us 100 million straight away.
Of course.
By signing him for 10 million, if that was what it was, then when we get to the summer, that would be sick. And Keith Downey said this yesterday. He said, I'm not going to go through all of it. He says, Man United will have to pay a compensation package of 10 million plus if they want Ashworth to start work in time for the summer transfer window, right? And someone said, the Telegraph said it's 20, Keith. He says, I'm fairly sure 20 is 10 million plus. He's basically saying it's still the same thing. But he said, if you don't know the details, just say you don't know the details, someone said to him. And then Keith says, I'm fairly certain a compromise will be reached, so not to drag it out. And that's exactly what will happen. Eddie Howe even said, and he said that under directives from his superiors, you can say, we want a quick resolution. They do. Of course they want a quick resolution.
Yeah.
Because they have to absolutely avoid, the Saudi owners will be saying, well, this guy doesn't want to be in anymore. What's the way we can get him out the quickest? Versus a little bit of counterbalance of like, we do want him to not go straight into Man United. But at the same time, give us our money and let us find out, because they have to find a new one too.
Exactly.
And do you know what I mean? So it's going to get sorted, though, and I'm with you. It's going to get sorted. And all of this, all Newcastle fans, honestly, if you want him, pay the money. Some Newcastle fans are like, make them wait. Look what they did with Lingard. I don't honestly, I'm reading some of the responses I've had. And Newcastle United FC Africa says, like we found middle ground for Lingard, you lot wanted 16 mil for 4 months loan deal. Just pay up and have your man. It's that simple. No. No,
I didn't realize they were really that Jesse Lingard thing of 2 years ago really struck a chord.
And look at this. Mike Pitt says
I think
to
he
me,
dodged a bullet there. He's in Korea.
honestly, Mike Pitt says to me, I thought you said he was going to be in place for summer. As things stands, he'll be in place for you for January 2026. Laughing out loud. Potomac Toon, 20 million. Here's the middle ground. They're all in there. All of these Newcastle fans. And I'm like, do you not live under a rock? A northern rock, ironically.
There you
know
go.
what I mean?
Nice.
There you go. Do you live under a northern rock, mate? Like, you can't afford to make him stay until 2026. So good luck with that. Good luck with your PSR with that. So I'll tell you about getting our man. We'll find a middle ground. We'll pay you what we think he's worth, and you'll accept it because you've got no choice. How about that?
I think it might be a case, because this is what I think what Keith Downey was kind of alluding to is the fact that obviously the less the problem is it's like 20 million to get him like now. He's ready to go. He would start right now. And as you get further back, there would still be an element of gardening leave, but it wouldn't be 18 months sort of thing, right? So I think it'll be a situation where he will still technically, it might be a bit like Omar Barada, in the sense he's on gardening leave at the moment. He can't start until the summer. I think it'll probably end up being a case of there is some sort of middle ground. We end up paying, again, what would be perceived as a hefty compensation for a sporting director because he hasn't been there very long. So that's obviously part of it too. And it's a senior position. And possibly it's like, okay, you can't start officially there till the summer. Everyone starts at the same time. But as much as we're talking about, oh, we need to prepare for the summer, we need to plan for the future, so do they. So like you said, it's within their best interests that they resolve it, move on, and get someone else in situ at the same time too. So I kind of, like you said, I kind of push back to the whole, 2026, and this is going to be this long, it's going to be this, it's going to be that. No. Man United, I mean, to be not wanting to judge it or anything like that, but we've already got our guy. Let's face it. We already have. He's already, like I said, he's already locked out. He's already lost access. Yeah. So it's done in that aspect. It's just a case of when is he going to start now and how much we're going to pay. So I think the hierarchy and the sporting structure is starting to come together already at Manchester United. And we've obviously already got links to Wilcox from Southampton. It's going to be interesting to see how that one plays out. I'd love to know actually what kind of budget Manchester United have set aside. Like I mentioned this a couple of days ago, because they would have to put aside some kind of budget for compensation. Because when you're going around cherry picking people from all of these different clubs, it's got a cost. It's the same as getting players to a lesser extent. But so I'd love to know what budget United set aside. And I'd also love to know, like, was that part of the plan of, January, maybe we kind of don't go for any players because we might need some actually, because we're talking about PSR. We know that we're pretty tight on it as well. So, did they sort of in January go, actually, you know what?
Let's save the piece.
We're gonna need that money because we're gonna be going to City to Newcastle.
Good, Owen. That's a really good point.
It's possible.
Because remember, we got no P's, have we? We don't. Like
no.
Said, so it's like we are. I mean, we don't know the figures for Omar Barada. Be interesting to ever find those out of what that, how much million does it cost to have him over a certain amount of years? What sort of contract did we give him? What sort of compensation did we have to pay? I remember. I think Newcastle paid Brighton. I think 3 million, or was it 5 million?
Yeah, well, and also it was a similar situation because he had to go on gardening leave to the end of the season.
Exactly. So they did it, but that's a really good point. Of like the injection of cash that Sir Jim has put in, because what's also been ratified is the extra 300 million that he's put in his own money, right?
Yeah.
Are we dipping into some sort of petty cash?
Yeah.
Sort of just,
or did they just offset? Part of this is this budget. Is this kind of like, I don't know, recruitment budget, if you will, of like.
And you know what though, there should be one, because it is going to get the best in class and assemble what we should have done ages ago. It is going to cost. Like, we got to get. But then again, let's be honest. And this is where again it probably makes us sick, but it's the truth. The money we would have been paying Ed Woodward / Richard Arnold and John Murto. It's probably quite substantial as well, really. Like Man United wages for not really doing your job properly usually equals big contract, massive wages.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, let's be honest.
Of course. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like higher than market rate. You know what I mean? So really, maybe the money they saved on Richard Arnold, his whole salary, would go towards it, you'd think. plus an injection of, I don't know, and I'm just throwing numbers out because Owen brought it up. It's a really good point. I don't know if we just pump 10, if we just say here's 20 to 30 million for that whole thing.
Yeah.
Just see how we go. Let's see if we can get Wilcox.
It's not
for
so
that.
much
Do
the
you know what I mean?
wages. It's more like, again, it's just the compensation side of things. So if you're going, okay, it's going to cost like maybe 10 million to get down Ashworth, how much you're going to have to pay Southampton? Maybe, like you said, a couple of million, maybe. You're going to have to set that aside, aren't you? You're going to have to be like, okay, this is going to cost us to kind of assemble this team and put it together. So, yeah, I think that's very interesting. But the project's moving quick, Flex. The project's moving quick. It's just a case of when are these guys going to start and who's going to be next? Because it's not going to end with Omar Barada and Dan Ashworth and Jason Wilcox. There's going to be more, I think. Yeah. And it's going to be interesting to see, once again, how quickly these guys operate with regards to Ineos. Because we've been linked to Dan Ashworth for a while. But once it really went into overdrive last week, I mean, how long has it actually been since really, those proper links started to come together? What, maybe like 5 days, maybe something about like that. Yeah. So I'm already looking onto who the next one's going to be as well.
Yeah. Tabarez says, on behalf of the UV family, shout out to Owen and Flex for your daily live shows. I don't think you realize how much you're helping me mentally. Well, that's it there, bro. We appreciate that. I'm so glad we're helping you.
Mutual.
Mentally.
We help each other.
Exactly. Like, it's so refreshing coming on here, seeing the love from you guys, seeing the comments and just the community that we're building where, you guys talk amongst yourselves as well. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of friends that you guys have made just by being part of this community as well. So yeah, it's the feeling is mutual to the rest of the whole family as well. If you didn't see at the beginning of the video, this video is brought to you by Cracks Only, as you can see right here. Link is in the video description below to get your link to get your access to their big range of stuff, man. They're doing big things out there in Los Angeles, whether it's MLS players wearing their gears, college stars wearing their stuff, and average Joes just like us. Do you know what I mean? There's something for everyone, whether it's your grip socks, your Under Armour stuff, you know what I mean, your training gear, or your casual gear, man. Your t-shirts, your hoodies, your short sets, your vests, your training stuff. If you go to the gym, backpacks, hoodies, big, massive puffer jackets. They've literally got everything on there as well. So check out Cracks Only if you haven't done so already. And big up to the people who have been sending me messages saying that they've enjoyed their purchases from Cracks Only. 1,000 and just under 1,500 people watching live and 247 likes. Guys, you know what I'm going to say? We're basically at 250, so I'm not going to mention 250. I'm turning my attention towards 500. We're turning our attention towards 500 because that's what we should be aiming for. We just keep our standards high. 500. Really, I want to be greedy and say 1,000, but I'm going to chill for a bit. I'm going to see how much we get to watch tonight because tell you what, only 20 minutes gone pretty much and we're at 1,500 people watching live. That could raise up quite a little bit. Then I'll adjust accordingly. But let's get 500 in the bag as we get onto the second topic. Let us know what you think about the Dan Ashworth situation as well. Do you think we'll get it done? Do you think it's just posturing? Or are you a little bit worried? Do you think, no, actually, I'm a bit more worried about this. Newcastle will try and milk us for any penny. Let us know how you feel about it. Now let's talk about Superstar Mania.
Yes, Kobbie Mainoo. I wanted to show this statistic. I like this. This has been doing the rounds on social media. So as you can see right there, Kobbie Mainoo completed 6 dribbles against Luton. This was the most by any Manchester United player in the Premier League in a game since Paul Pogba with 7 in April 2022. It's a Carrington thing. Now, yesterday, Flex, I know you were very big on Kobbie Mainoo. You were saying that he was embarrassing his senior teammates. And I remember when you had the chance to talk to Musiala in that press conference. And I remember a conversation me and you had at the time. We were going, what should we ask if we get a question? What should we ask? And I remember saying to you, I was like, bring up Kobbie Mainoo. Bring up Kobbie Mainoo. And we were like, but because he literally maybe played like twice.
To be honest, he didn't really know who he was. It was too early.
but the point being is, it doesn't look too bad now in retrospect, does it? Because I think
put him on the radar, mate. Let him know, let the big players just hear the name. It's our job to push the name.
Exactly. Just I mean, the thing is, he's 18. Just how good do you think he can actually be? And have you changed your mind about the whole Euros discussion?
Oh, I have. Oh, 100%.
Because I've seen that on social media. I saw Ian Wright give it on Twitter yesterday, being like, taken. Flex about a week or so ago was going, was it Ghanaian parents? Don't give him a new contract. Don't give him new money. And don't take him to the Euros. He's a disgrace.
Yeah, I apologize wholeheartedly to the community. I'm fully on the train. I don't like now. Because you know what it is. You know that sort of just. I just don't want to like overhype and I don't want to like overhype and like. Do you know what I mean? Like I just really want him to just wrap him in cotton wool just to just keep him back and stuff. But he's going no. No,
I'm best midfielder in the team.
I'm gonna put Man United on my back. Don't tell me about no Henderson, who's barely buying the win at Ajax. Big up to Ajax and the guys. I'm just saying. Don't tell me about no Calvin Phillips, by the way, who's having
did you see the clip? Did you see the clip with Nicky from West Ham Fan TV?
What did he call the Yorkshire pudding?
He went, Yorkshire Perlo. I think it's a Yorkshire pudding. And you just see Nicky go.
Listen, listen. We all hate Leeds scum and all that. I hear that, but look, he has been out for a long time, and it's taken him a while to get going. He's playing like someone who has not been literally since he's come back. He gave away a pen against gave away a goal against Dom Solanke. He got the ball robbed off him when he come on at Old Trafford by McTominay. He then didn't start in 6-0 against Arsenal, but got brought on, I think, just into shitness. Starts at thing away, gets sent off. Like he's having an awful time, but we all hate Leeds scum. But anyway, yeah, Kobbie Mainoo's like Gareth Southgate looking at the options is like, well, it's him. Like people talk about Curtis Jones. To be fair, he's done well this year, but Kobbie with the maturity and the calmness that he's showing on the ball. I mean, for us, I was watching him in that game there, especially in that first half. Yeah, I'm watching all of our players in midfield and just in general. I'm watching Maguire just be a buffoon yesterday, just being a wally, just back to the old Maguire, just doing mad stuff, right? Yeah. Honestly. Then I'm watching Casemiro just moving mad. I'm like, you've won 5 Champions League, bro. And I'm looking at this young kid, yeah, just carrying us through, giving us just Bruno, a little bit of. I'm looking at Bruno just every time he gets it, just giving away possession like he just doesn't even want us to keep the ball. And I'm looking at Kobbie in these tight ass situations, people trying to press him, and he just plays like he's just in his own world. And I'm like, bro, you're taking the piss out of these lot. Like you can say it's Luton and all that, but I'm seeing the way the other players are playing for us and versus the way you're playing. And this ain't just a one-off game. Like you've done this pretty much every game. Yeah, there's some moments where he's still got loads to improve, but his fundamentals of how technically sound he is and how he plays the game,
his feet,
and he does it like he doesn't care. Like he just glides past people. It's not particularly. It's not like Kante-esque where it's like, look at this guy running around there. It's not like that. And it's like the people say the Pogba thing of the way he glides past people. It doesn't quite look like that in stature because he's not as tall and as
he's not as rangy.
It doesn't.
He's quite short, quite stocky, but he's
but then he is like a Seedorf like figure. But the way he just.
But this is where I think the comparison thing. I don't even like doing the comparison thing because he's
Kobbie Mainoo
and he's Kobbie Mainoo and honestly, like as you mentioned, there are certain points in the game, and this happens at least 4 or 5 times in a game, where he'll get the ball, and the crowd didn't really maybe notice it that much, or the commentary don't make that much sort of a mention of it or whatever. But he'll get the ball in, like you said, a really tight area, and actually the pass that he's been given is a bad pass. You know when you go. You've put your teammate under pressure. And that's what annoyed me a lot about Bruno yesterday. He was doing that a lot as well, where he does that thing where he passes the ball to someone, they're under pressure, they lose the ball, and they look bad because they've given the ball away. And you go, actually, no, you sold out your teammate there with the pass that you've just done. And Kobbie Mainoo got the ball several times yesterday, and it's literally, as you mentioned, it's just in and out of his feet, quickly done. He got rid of it straight away. I mean, a great example is the winner against Aston Villa last week, when he gave it to Dallo, literally in out of his feet.
People don't even really realize he done that.
But people don't like I said, you don't really even notice it sometimes that much. But then if you're really like paying attention a couple of times in the game, you go, fuck, that was good feet. Oh my God. And especially in comparison to his teammates who, let alone, I mean, we're talking controlling the feet, they can't pass a ball 5 yards at points, or they're just trying to sort of spam it across the pitch or try and long. It's just nothing's working with him. It's constantly, you just go, good pass.
And the decision, and what I like about him is that exactly, you know, that thing we said, good pass. What he does is his pass sort of choice is always correct. So he may do what you find with young players, especially, is if they beat a man or give a little nutmeg or do a little pirouette or Cruyff turn, it's like, yeah, now I need to hit this 25 yards fade across the pitch, finish it off.
Yeah.
No. I'll just give it to the guy in front of me because your first pass is usually the right pass. And he's connecting the dots. He allows our attack to knit together in transition. And if we had two other midfielders that could do the same job he did or looked after the ball like he did, we would control games. Kobbie Mainoo is the exact type of profile of midfielder in terms of his technical ability. I'm not saying that you need 3 Kobbie Mainoos because you do need different types. But in terms of how you look after the ball and like James Maddison and Odegaard and like those types of the way they look after the ball and can keep it. It's like how Kobbie Mainoo can keep the ball.
You don't have to worry when it goes to the ball at their feet. You don't have to worry about them constantly giving it away or anything like that.
Kobbie Mainoo might not be able to, you know, shoot or cross as good as Odegaard and evade challenge. You know,
well,
it's different.
I'll tell you. Well, you say that goal against Wolves.
Exactly. Is there anything he can't do? But you know what I mean? I'm not going to you know, the way Maddison whips it and stuff like that. Like they are straight up 10s. They're straight up attacking. You know what I mean? Kobbie Mainoo we want as an 8 or a 6 or whatever you want him to be. But the way he looks after the ball is like other midfielders. Now, I know it sounds crazy and people can say, oh, look at these Man United fans. Now they're talking about Rodri. Oh, look at him. I'm not saying he's as good as Rodri, right? But again, the way, if you have someone in that area of the pitch who just looks after the ball properly, like, and knows the weight of pass, can pass with both feet, like that starts you ticking. And then when you get more technical players in there, it helps you keep the ball better. Arsenal do it all the time. Liverpool do it all the time. It helps you progress the ball through the thirds instead of what we do, which is Kobbie Mainoo will do something on the ball and be really composed and really calm. The ball will end up to Casemiro, who try a first-time ball round the corner when he should just play the 5-yard pass. Or Bruno, fucking hell, we know what he's going to do. He's going to do a madness and hit them, kick it into the player or run into a blind alley. Or do you know what I mean? So he's invaluable to the team. Invaluable.
It's no coincidence, is it? We're talking about losing control of the game, but that's because yesterday 2/3 of the midfield couldn't control the ball. There's only one person that could, so that's the link there. And I think with Kobbie, like you said, it's just about how good can he actually be at this point, because he's nowhere near his prime, which is frightening. It's really frightening.
He looks like, I mean, Peter Schmeichel said it yesterday, and I said it during the game, or I think during my match view, my reaction before I even saw what Peter Schmeichel said. He looks like he's been playing at Man United for 10 years. Like he's 18, but he looks like he's 28.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Which is, for a young player in central midfield as well, I cannot express to you guys, and you guys know, a lot of us have played football. Owen, I know you've been a keeper pretty much all your life.
Yeah.
But everybody just knows how difficult. I think central midfield, I've said it before, I think central midfield is the hardest position.
There was that clip pre-season. Remember when it was Tielemans at Aston Villa? You know, when he comes on the pitch and he has the thing on. And everyone went, "Oh my God, that's so mental, fast.
Bro. It's so mental." Fast. And as a striker, listen, I've played at just below semi-pro level, whatever, nothing great, but you know, I'm experienced. I've played a lot of games, right? As a striker, bro, if I find myself in midfield by accident, like, you know, sometimes the way the play goes and you might have to fill in and stuff. I'm telling you now, it is the most uncomfortable feeling. You don't know. When the ball's on its way to you, you just shit yourself. You just think, I've got to shit. Like honestly, I'm just thinking, get this ball under control, give it to someone and F off out of there. Get out. Because when you're up front, it's, for me, type striker, I know it's easy. Like I'm a back to goal striker. I'm not really someone who's going to run past loads of people.
Yeah.
I'm a hold-up merchant. Like a Højlund, like a Awani, do you know what I mean? Like a Drogba. Yeah.
Emil
Heskey. Yeah. That kind of, I'm just all arse and elbows, my manager used to say to me. Arse and elbows, win fouls, frustrate the opposition, be physical, and I'd make good runs, right? In my prime, when I was fit, right? But you know what you got to do then. It's just you and a defender, you pin one, you get involved with one, You know, it's just you versus them. You either hold them up, set it up, or you know, you can face the goal and make a good run and be in behind, etc., and just be in the box, right? But if you're a different type of striker, you might be clever. You drop off into the midfield, like a Jesus. You can drop off the front, make things. That was not me. I ain't trying to get involved with all of that. So when you're collecting the ball off the back four and you've got a striker running after you, or it's a bit like pinball in central midfield where you can only take one touch around the corner, set me, let me half touch. It's mental. And to have that composure at that age is not easy. I tell you that. It's not easy.
No, and it's not the only time he's done it as well. I mean, like we were talking on the full-time view yesterday. I forget who it was, but we were saying that not only is he making his teammates look bad because they can't control the ball, but he's not out of place in any Premier League opposition as well. He's making them look foolish too. He did it. I know you can say Luton, but he did it against Everton as well. Any game he's played, he's done it in the Champions League this season as well. So it's not a fluke or anything like that. And it's very exciting to actually have one of those players that you can go, actually, we got one of the better emerging players in the Premier League. What a rarity.
I tell you what, Lil Yo-Yo, you've nailed it. Fleck-Wyn Jones. That is brilliant. That is, shout out Kenwyn, by the way, as well. But I tell you what, Fleck-Wyn Jones, yes, 100%. I was the type of striker I was. I was a bit more mobile than I'm giving myself credit for in my prime, to be fair. I was actually quite quick. But now it's definitely, you know, on FIFA, when you change the tactics to EAFC, when you change the tactics to target man.
Yeah.
So the 9, stay central.
Yeah.
Can't run no more, mate. Just use me as a focal point, bounce it off me and let me get in the box. That's all I could do. Vets League, here I come. You know what I'm saying? I will say this. There is over 1,600 people watching live right now. So we are rising, guys. We are rising quick. 500. Let's get it in the bag. We're at 356 likes. Let's get the 500 in the bags and then see if we can push to that 750, etc. Maybe even 1,000. Who knows? But it's a great show. Everyone's getting involved. I can see just over 400 of you have voted in the comments as well. Sorry, in the poll. Should Kobbie Mainoo be in England's Euro squad? 69% say yes, 31% say no. But also 440 of you have voted, which is more than likes. So if everybody who has voted could also just smash a like on the video as well. Big up to DJ in the chat as well. Well done on the match view along with Louis and Raf yesterday. Big up to you guys. Let's get the comments out as well. Ivor, big up to Ivor Clips, been a member for 6 months. Big shout to you, bro. Says all credit to the boys, but the main reason we won yesterday was because of Luton's extremely high line and lack of quality. Good, keep up the good work from South Africa. WJ Barrett says, you know, we gas up players. We are all guilty, but trust me, Mainoo takes me back to Nedved, Zidane, Iniesta, and Xavi era. He is that good. Is Tabaslo moving too mad? Is that? I would slow down on that one.
It's WJ Barrett. WJ Barrett.
Sorry.
You're moving mad. You're moving mad.
Well, the comment was so wild, I forgot who said it. WJ Barrett. Is WJ Barrett a little too crazy on that one? Mentioning Zidane, Iniesta, Xavi era, Pavel Nedved. I think, and this is what I mean. I think it's. That was why with the Euros thing, I was like, yeah, but nah, let's not. But then that's WJ Barrett. You're moving mad. You're moving mad, bro. That's too. Just chill. But I hear you. Tabrez is also a member, the latest member of the UV Members Club as well. Big up to you, Tabrez. Thank you. And Rusty says Mainoo is locked for Euros. Inevitable. Well,
inevitable.
Knowing Gareth Southgate, I mean, he probably picks Henderson and Phillips. Still.
Oh my god!
Honestly,
I told you the Henderson Phillips pivot is coming.
Yeah. Well, there's an international break in March. So we'll see if he gets in just to be in the squad. Like I said, I do agree with what you and KG were saying. Like even at this point, it'd be fantastic for him to be around.
Just be there.
Just go there. Just go to St George's Park. Train with the big man. Yeah. Let them see as well. Let them see him in training. If he doesn't play a game or make the bench, just let him go and train with him so that Gareth and them man and even the players go, fuck you now. Yeah. Tell you what. Jesus.
Exactly.
He's right, him. Do you know what I mean? Let him go mix it with Declan Rice in the rondos and that, and the little, you know, the keep balls or the 6-on-6s in the 20x20s or whatever. Let him do it. Let him do it. Let him see the one touch popping it, pop. They go, oh, tell you what. So I want to see that. 425 likes. We're getting there. We're getting there, guys. Keep it going. Next on the list, we have got
United's front three, and this kind of encapsulates, I suppose, Rasmus Højlund, history maker Rasmus Højlund, the youngest player ever to score in 6 consecutive Premier League games. He's got 7 in 6 in all actuality as well. What a turnaround indeed. And this is an interesting stat I wanted to point out as well, Flex. Manchester United, when Marcus Rashford, Rasmus Højlund, and Alejandro Garnacho start in the Premier League, 7 wins, 0 defeats, and 2.4 goals per game. Is that Manchester United's front three? And for all of the talk about Ahmad and all this kind of stuff, why do we want to keep trying to change it? Because as of right now, and as is the evidence right there, it is working, is it not? It's working just like Nubian Pharaoh's always working, yeah?
Guys, you know what to do. Pharaoh's in the chat, guys. Moment of silence, moment of recognition as the Pharaoh has entered the building, please. Pharaoh's in the chat. Everything must pause. You know, you're not new to this now, guys. You know how this works. You know what happens when the Pharaoh enters. There should be a moment of recognition for the Pharaoh, a moment of silence, and of course, the honorary reading out of his super chats, but also the respect should be shown. Pharaoh's in the chat, please, guys. He's arrived, says Mr. Bag. Leo says he's done it again. Elite says acknowledge him. WJ Barrett Pharaohs, Vegeta Pharaohs. Jason Ramon says acknowledge him. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Thank you. The Pharaoh. Hello, Mr. Pharaoh. Good morning, Mr. Pharaoh. Over to you, Owen.
Good morning. Mano is basically the main man. Gareth, do the right thing.
Gareth Southgate. If the Pharaoh's telling you what to do, you better do it. You better
acknowledge me.
100%. Thank you very much, Nubian Pharaoh. Happy Monday to you, my guy. You're right as well. Madu is the main man, and Gareth does need to do the right thing. Took me a while, but I'm with you there, Nubian Pharaoh. Hope your meetings are going to go good. Whatever you got planned this week, this morning, your meetings in central London or wherever they are, whatever you got going on. Hope you've had a good weekend, etc., etc. Makish says, "Is he a guy or a girl?" The Pharaoh is a man. The Pharaoh has confirmed this. Yes, Nubian Rain says Ridwan. Acknowledge the Pharaoh. Yes, 100%. So thank you, Nubian Pharaoh, and have a positive week, whatever you may have planned. Wish you the best. Where was we, Owen?
The front three.
The front three, yes.
Front three. I'll get the thing up on the screen once again, just to re-emphasize the fact. When they've started in the Premier League, Rashford, Højlund, Garnacho, 7 wins, 0 defeats, 2.4 goals per game. As I mentioned, why does that mean we keep trying to change it then? Why are people calling to have Ahmad play? That is the front three that is getting the job done. Rasmus Højlund as well. As I mentioned, record breaker, 7 goals in 6 games. And would you say we've even really seen, again, the peak when it comes to synergy of that front three? I would say nowhere near as of right now.
No, it's still growing. And it's important we talk about this, actually, because a lot of people, frustrated with Garnacho and, at some points, and some of his teammates, are sometimes really frustrated with his final decisions and his final pass. And I agree, but I think we have to cut Garnacho some slack here. This kid has started 21 games in a row. Did you know that? 21 games in a row, I read yesterday.
Crazy.
And that's insane. Like, he wasn't, same as last year, he wasn't supposed to be playing this much. He wasn't supposed to have this sort of leading role. And then also, especially on the right-hand side, like, I remember last year, we couldn't even play Garnacho on the right-hand side. We couldn't, first of all, it had to be, he's a left winger and he has to play there, which was a conundrum. We had to put Marcus Rashford out on the right and it wasn't working. Jadon Sancho was gone for a little bit, plus it just wasn't working. Anthony, same thing. So we had a problem there, didn't we, on the right hand side? And I remember a game against Leeds because we had to start. We wanted Garnacho to be good from the start as opposed to just coming off the bench.
Yeah, and he missed a couple of chances, didn't he?
And he missed it. And I remember a game against Leeds where Luke Ayling was right back, obviously, and he was just having up Garnacho, just having him up, and Garnacho was missing chances and just getting bullied a bit. Then we put him onto the right-hand side. I think in the second half, he struggled. And I think he came off in the end.
Yeah.
And like the difference in him from then to now is really good. Like he still had some good games. Yes, he's still raw. But this guy, the £80 million guy is supposed to be the guy, is just an unused
Well, that's
sub
what
now.
I was going to
even on the
bring up.
bench
Well, this
yesterday.
was what I was going to bring up. Yeah, when I think for all of the conversation about Ahmad and all this kind of stuff, I think if actually the big conversation is that once again, Anthony, he was on the bench yesterday. He wasn't used. I think against in our last game, he might have come on for maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes at the end. But the fact that Eric Ten Hag clearly. Eric Ten Hag is clearly done with him. He is done with him to the point whereby he's not even taking Garnacho off. Now you could argue yesterday Garnacho maybe should have come off. He had a bad game yesterday. He wasn't great. Missed big chances, and he does do that thing also where he gives the ball away in the final third a bit. But you know when you're young, I guess you'll kind of not to get a pass, but you go, well, okay, it is what it is. But the fact that he's not going anywhere near.
He's not going anywhere near,
which I think says a lot. That's not to say that doesn't. It's not.
Stop everything. Pause. And this is the big one.
Acknowledge me.
I tell you what, we're learning more about the Pharaoh as well. By the way, the Pharaoh is. Moment of silence, please, for the Pharaoh. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Acknowledged. Owen, over to you.
Happy Monday. Yes, meetings galore today. I'm a man with 2 kids. One of my sons was at Chelsea's academy with Hudson-Odoi and Drogba's son.
We're learning more about the Pharaoh every single day. Every single day. Meetings are meeting in.
Do you think so? That was an interesting kind of little, because like you said, you always learn a little bit more about Nubian Pharaoh, a little bit more of insight. Are these super chats that come from is one of his sons like a really famous footballer?
Yeah. I tell you what, one of my sons was at Chelsea's academy of Hudson-Odoi. I mean, that class of Hudson-Odoi, how old's Hudson-Odoi now? 24, maybe? Look at us trying to work things out. Look at us trying to work out.
I tell you what, we turned into Sherlock Holmes and Watson very quickly.
I know.
Deduction.
Yeah, so Hudson-Odoi is 23. Mackie says, Levi Colwell's dad.
It's honestly, it's like a game of guess who.
That class, yeah.
Like a game of guess who. He goes, right, someone in the academy of Nigerian descent. I go, take that one down.
Oh. Interesting. But the Pharaoh, big up to your sons, by the way, as well.
Yes.
You know what I mean? My little cousin's in the Chelsea Academy doing right now as well. Asher, check him out. Asher Hell's doing well. If you want to check him out on Instagram, A7 Asher, check him out. He's doing really well.
I played at Chelsea's training ground once when I was at Oxford. We got absolutely battered. Absolutely battered.
Was you just picking the ball out of the net?
Yeah. There was like a little tournament. It was Oxford, Derby, and Chelsea, and they absolutely ripped us apart.
What would you have been at the time? Like 15 or something?
No, I was much younger than that. I was maybe 9 or something like that.
Oh, right, 9.
Yeah. I was much younger, and we played in these really big goals. And honestly, it was not good that day. I can't even remember the scoreline. I was that young. I didn't know if I could count that high at the time. It was not good.
But big up to Nubian Pharaoh. Listen, thank you. Honestly, we really, really appreciate your support and your interactions, regardless of the crazy super chats. Just you supported the channel as well. It's been unbelievable. You'd never know how much we appreciate it, as well as we do every single one of you who send in super chats, who like the videos so the videos do better, who subscribe to the channel, help grow this community, every single one of you. Kenny Fan TV been a member for 11 months. You know, even the people who have, people who've been members and continue to be members for multiple months, like Kenny Fan TV and Starlord and many others. Thank you. Big up, guys. Good evening from Australia. 4 wins in 4. Keep it going. Yes, exactly. Got a chance for 5-5 against Fulham on the weekend. Descendant of the first crackhead says Hudson-Odoi and Drogba have a son together.
I don't think. He's a descendant. He's a descendant. He's a descendant.
Yeah. There's a reason why you're a descendant.
He's a descendant. He's a descendant.
Ivor Clips has gifted 1 UV membership as well. So big up to the beneficiary of that. Can I see who it was? It was Makish was gifted the membership. So big up to Makish. Welcome to.
Did you read out Baraf's member thing as well?
Let's go back up. Barafan says wingers still aren't creating for Rasmus. Bruno not helping either. Self-serving. I'm confident Garnacho will improve. Unsure about Rashford. Well, we kind of just spoke about the Garnacho thing and Rasmus as well. People do want to talk about Bruno. There's about 10 minutes left of the show. What a lot of people going in on him, and I give him a rubbish rating yesterday. He has been terrible. He's playing awful. And he's making it really difficult to defend what he brings to the team at this precise moment. So then the question and the conversation moves on, which is, who should Erik ten Hag start instead of him? Many people on my timelines yesterday said Ahmad. Ahmad should start in the 10 instead of Bruno. So a lot of people said it should be Mason Mount, but clearly he's not fit because Mason Mount will keep the ball better and play in a better way and look after the ball. But until then, keep it till Bruno, until Mount's fit. Hardly anyone suggested Scott McTominay as like a false 10
starter,
starter. And a lot of people said, Eriksen's technically sound, but the game's going to pass him by in terms of, that would
have been maybe the problem yesterday, wouldn't it, with Eriksen? Is
absolutely
that in an ideal world, you would do the sub Eriksen for Bruno yesterday, but given the way the game was going and sort of the intensity and pace of the game, you would be worried that it would kind of pass him by a little bit too quickly. So I kind of understand that. I'm of the mindset that Bruno looked knackered and was chasing the ball.
I'm with Lil Yo-Yo. Sorry.
Yeah. I'm of the mindset that, you said at the end of the game, Bruno, he looked knackered. The reason he was knackered is he kept giving the ball away and chasing after it. That's the problem. Yeah, he was like, I don't know, a cat with a piece of string, one of those yarn when he hits it across and he has to chase after it, try and get it back. That's what he was doing. He was... to put it bluntly, shit yesterday. He was rubbish. He was honestly so frustrating. And genuinely, he nearly cost his team the game because of what he pulled at the end of the game. When you've got the ball in the corner, 2-1 up, and you take a shot, when you've tried to round the goalkeeper that game missed, you drag shots wide, you've been doing a madness all game, you then just give it to them, and they go up the other end, get a corner, hit the bar. That was on Bruno. And I think... that's when people, when they sort of say, captain's performance, that's not good enough. That is not a captain's performance. When you're moving that kind of madness on the pitch, and we talk about losing control of the game, we lost control of the game because in moments of adversity, you look towards your North Star, you look towards your captain for inspiration. Is he calm? Is he composed? Is he doing the right things? And he was doing none of it. He was a detriment to the team yesterday. He really, really was. Now, as far as, like you say, the whole play Ahmad in the 10. We've got to stop doing this. I know I've said this a lot recently, and I know that people are now fixated on Ahmad. They did it earlier on this season with Amrabat. They did it with Palestri. Now it's Ahmad's turn of Ahmad. Ahmad's got to be playing. Ahmad's got to be coming on. And I agree with you in terms of sub appearances. Maybe, 75 minutes, bring him on, see what he can do. But if we're holding up this guy with these high expectations, when he comes on and he doesn't deliver to those expectations, we are going to be let down. We're going to be let down because we'll go, actually, he's just a young player. He's going to be inconsistent. Now, I think he should have gone out on loan. I'd have rather kept Palestri and not played him and put out Ahmad, and he could have played, he could have developed, because that's what's best for him. We saw last season, loan at Sunderland. He got Young Player of the Year in the Championship. He was excellent. I still think that jump from Championship to Manchester United is still a big, big jump. And the best thing for him would have been a loan in the Premier League, playing every single week, and then we can go, actually, yes, he deserves a shot. But I've seen some madness flex on social media over the last couple of weeks where people are posting 5-second training clips and going, this is why he should be starting every single game for Manchester United.
That one's ridiculous. When he does the little 1v1 and he goes past someone in the little mini goals and we say, right, that means that's why he has to start. Look, I get where
And it's
people
not
come
saying he's
from
bad.
because
It's not saying
no,
he's
it's
rubbish or he's
not.
bad or anything like that.
He's a talented young player. I get some people basically again they don't rate Ten Hag, so they don't want to trust his decision that he's not ready yet. You know, they see him in training every week and have decided that he's not ready yet, right? And you know, look at Kobe Mainoo. That he's made a good decision that he is ready. Look at Garnacho. He's made a good decision that he is ready and he is contributing to the games. To bring in another youth on top of that as well, like he's you know, you got Rasmus who's young and trying to, you know, we've got a core 3 kids there who are kids and they're trying to find their way, and he probably just doesn't want to add another one in, especially for the captain. Now, to put Ahmad in the 10, let's just break that down for a minute of what that looks like and sort of the lack of evidence we have to even suggest that he could do that to this level of intensity. That means you're saying your midfield's going to be an 18-year-old Kobe Mainoo who's got to do everything by himself, a Casemiro who's not press resistant and keeps giving away the ball and gets dribbled past the second most highest in the league, and then a little kid in Ahmad who, let's face it, is not like saying bringing him on the right hand side, cool. Like I don't mind that. To say he has to play in the 10 for Man United, yeah, in this type of team, what are we thinking? What are we thinking? Like,
to replace,
can you imagine Ahmad coming to replace the captain? Like, I don't understand. Based off of like, because he's gone to Sunderland and got Player of the Year in the Champ and done exceptionally well, by the way. But the 10 is a different ball game. He's not ready for that. I'd say that straight. He ain't ready for that. Like, what he should be doing is getting more of a looking off the bench. I absolutely agree.
That's what I mean. That's why I totally agree with that.
When Garnacho's knackered, when he's tired, when you can see he's made loads of bad decisions, it just isn't the game. He's knackered. He's just forcing things. Bring on Ahmad. He will give you that calmness. He will keep the ball properly. He will sort of set and play, you know, round little triangles and keep the ball and pick the right moments. Give him a few games, but clearly I don't think he's ready. But to say that he should start instead of Bruno, I just think it's mad. I just think honestly,
and it's got to be the right moment. This is the key thing too.
Moment.
It's got to be the right moment because again, people are talking about. I remember when it was the Villa game. I did bring on Ahmad, Bryden, bring on Ahmad. He brought McTominay and he won the game. So that was a right substitution for Eric Ten Hag to make. It worked. It paid off. Yesterday, you know, and it's about trust, I suppose, but when it's 2-1, games on a knife edge, it shouldn't be. It should have been 4-1, 5-1 by that point. Because again, the senior players let him down yesterday, Eric Ten Hag. Because for all of the talk, I saw this yesterday too. A lot of the talk was Eric Ten Hag. Look, we went to Luton, we conceded so many shots, and this, that, and the other. And Luton had more possession than us. Balls to the possession. Okay, I'm sick of this possession talk when it comes to Manchester United or football in general. Because yesterday there was nothing wrong with Eric Ten Hag's tactics in the sense of we should have won that game 4-1, 5-1. And if those goals had gone in, we'd be saying about how the manager got it right. He got it right yesterday. What didn't go right is the senior players and other players couldn't finish their dinner. They let him down. And if we score those goals, the game is over. And then you're going to have more of the ball and it's going to be a lot calmer. And people are still pointing to possession and that kind of stuff. We saw teams that had a lot of possession go there and still struggle because people struggle when they go there as well. And there's not one way to win a football match. And one way to win a football match, everyone thinks, is you've got to have all the ball, you've got to have possession, you've got to play like Pep Guardiola. It's about results. It's about results, and that's what it's going to be to the end of the season. And
it's about the trade-off. Because look, like I'm looking, you know, people did this to me yesterday, shoving me the stats of all these other teams that have gone there and say how they dominate possession. Couldn't give a shit because I tell you what, just quickly, Owen, can you get up the stats from yesterday? From our game, just really quickly, right? Yeah. And this is to show you how it really football's about fine margins, right? Let me know when you got them, right? So yesterday, how many shots did we have on their goal? 22 or 23?
21.
Right, 21. So we had 21 less shots.
9 on target.
9 on target, right. So Arsenal, when they had to score in the 90 plus 7th minute, who won against 4-3, they had 67% possession, created 23 shots and had 9 on target. Us with a different style of play also created exactly the same. And Arsenal scored 4. Guess what? We should have scored 4 or 5 yesterday as well. That's what we're talking about, the differences. And Luton Town pushed them right to the end where, you know, Arsenal had to literally do it right at the end. Liverpool, right? They had 24 shots and 6 on target and had 74% possession and only scored in the last flipping minute, 90 plus 5. But we had way less possession, had more shots on target than them, and had a 2-goal lead, which we effed up ourselves. So again, different styles for different fights. But let's not act like these teams who had the best possession did amazingly well. I'll draw on another one for you. Let's go to the Spurs one. Let me go back up. Let me go Luton Town. Actually, look, Luton beat Newcastle. Luton beat Newcastle. Newcastle had 66% possession. What did they do? Had 15 shots and 2 on target. Luton had 16 shots and 5 on target, and they lost. Right.
The biggest problem, I think, with this, right? If you look at stats from yesterday, the biggest problem, our pass accuracy was 76%, right?
Exactly.
With 41% possession, our pass accuracy being 76% goes to show you that those players couldn't keep the ball because they're not good enough at keeping the ball. Our fouls were we did 21 fouls compared to their 7 yesterday. So it goes to show you can see the story is our possession would have been higher if they could keep better care of the ball. But people like Bruno, people like Casemiro couldn't do it yesterday. For whatever reason, they were doing an absolute madness.
Look at this,
and
Owen.
I think that's when you go to Eric Ten Hag. I look at that and I go, well, you know, that game could have and should have been totally different. He said it after the game. We should have been like 4-0 up.
We should have been 4-0 up. Man City only won 2-1. The best team in the land with the best possession, with the best everything, with the best Pep Guardiola, best manager, this up his ass, everything. They're so good, Man City. They went to Luton and only won by a goal, right? They won 2-1, right? And at one point, they were 1-0 down. They were 1-0 down in that game. How many shots on target does City have? 6. How many chances they create? 18. So we created, with less possession, more chances to City, more chances on target, where we had gilt-edged, where we should have definitely scored at least 4 goals yesterday, right? And Luton had 4 shots and 2 on target. So let's not dress this thing up. People don't go Luton and struggle. The overall picture, I get it. It's not sustainable. Too many games are open. We saw it last week at Villa. The games too. But talk about the real reason why it is. It isn't just because this is Eric. See, Eric Ten Hag's dead. Well, no. So why have we gone there and created more chances than Man City with less possession and should have been 4-0 up? Why have Arsenal have to win in the 90+ 7th minute? Why has Chelsea had to score? Why have Liverpool had to score in the 90+ 5 minute? It's a common theme, and we said this before the game. It can either be one of the most comfortable afternoons because you play to the best of your ability, or it's like the record shows us this year, which is against every single big team, they haven't lost by more than 1 goal.
And yesterday we made it difficult for ourselves. That's the key thing. We made it difficult for ourselves, not in the sense of tactics, in the sense of people not, to quote Roy Keane, not doing their job. They just wouldn't do their job, and that's ultimately what nearly cost Manchester United yesterday. But in terms of the attacking, like we said, we should have been 4 or 5-0 up. We could have scored that many goals.
I do agree. Like someone said there, Vegeta said the problem is bigger than the Luton game of how we play. 100%. S. Madison says, Fleck, we played on the counter against Luton, different case. Yes, we did, but we ended up being more efficient than the teams who didn't play on the counter against Luton. Maybe that's the best way. That's like saying, right, in boxing, there's someone the styles make the fight. So you might go and fight against Anthony Joshua and be on the front foot, because you want to, on the front foot, this, that, and the other. But you still get the same outcome. Who's someone who just sat back and just waited for their moment, pop, and got a stoppage.
And we did this as well.
Bro.
And we did this as well when we played Aston Villa the week before. There were people criticizing us because we played on the counter-attack at Villa Park against Aston Villa. But we won the game, and that was the best way to win the game. Yesterday, playing like that, people go, embarrassing, whatever. But that was the best way to win the game, and it should have been comfortable. It worked. It worked.
But the bigger picture is, I think we just need more technical players in there. Yes, he keeps picking Bruno because he's made him his captain. But we haven't didn't have money to replace Bruno. We ain't got anyone really who I think is going to come in and do better in the 10 right now, personally. Amrabat's not good. Eriksen's got no legs. Scott McTominay's best as a super sub. So what? Casemiro gets run past the most in the league. So we could talk about tactics and stuff like that. But in terms of in these games, I'm seeing a lot where we're doing the right things. And then our fitness catches up. I do think what Cam says as well, fitness is shocking. And then decision-making is even worse. And I just don't get, this sort of, that it's all Eric Ten Hag's fault. Yes, he's the manager, and I've criticized him loads, 100%. But and this is where this next transfer window is going to tell us a lot, because we do have to change. Casemiro and Bruno and all that, we're not going to get far with them man in our midfield. I'll say it. Luke Shaw, injury prone as well. literally, I'll get to that, Akut. You know, I'll hold my hands up to these types of situations. I'm not blind. I'm not being like, oh, you lot are the problem. Leave Erik ten Hag alone. He's doing a perfect job. I'm not saying that.
No,
but when
not
we
at
win,
all.
when we win these types of games, please look at how we won the type of game and what fixture it is compared to the teams that we're lauding, and saying, well, our performance wasn't too dissimilar in numbers to what happened to these teams that played on the front foot with amazing possession. And yes, there are problems in our midfield. 100%. It's like a basketball match, hot potato. But like I said, until Casemiro and Bruno, and even players like Rashford, until them players ain't there no more, and we change what we're doing, which is what we have to get to the summer, and hopefully we do, nothing will change in terms of that basketball type. I don't think we have the players to do it. I really don't. Lil Yo says, bring all those stats with you to DR Fleck. I will. Daniel Morrison says, where's famous celebrity and all-round well-known person KG? Must be recovering from the BAFTAs. Yeah, exactly. God knows where he is. And Akut says, I love Shaw, but his injury occurrence is becoming an issue. Should we be looking at a new left back? And it isn't just becoming an issue. It's been an issue for ages. And the answer is yes. The answer is yes. Malacia is not the one as well. So, again, how ruthless will Ineos be? How ruthless will Erik ten Hag be to Ineos to say, I want a new left back. I want to change it, because it's the same thing. It's the same thing. So, yes, there you go. Vegeta says, stop comparing United game versus game. Compare United's season with the best teams in the league, and then you will see that this is not good at all. Let's be real here. Again, I just said, I agree. The bigger picture. The bigger picture is we have to change them type of players. Them type of players are not helping us. If you think we can be technically sound and keep the ball really well with bloody Casemiro and Bruno and people like that playing, it just ain't going to happen.
It's this sort of overarching conversation, I think it is, isn't it? Because, like, for instance, this year, we've not lost in 2024, right? There's 3 teams, I think, that are unbeaten this year. I think it's like, is it Liverpool City or is it Liverpool, Arsenal and us? One of them. Either way, we're in that conversation. And you look at that and you go, well, that's good, isn't it? And then
Arsenal, City and us.
Yeah. And then you still have people go, no, that's not good. Because, like you say, they'll go, well, bigger picture, not sustainable, etc., etc., etc. But the way I look at it is, I think Erik ten Hag is just looking at this going, look, we're not playing well this season. We're not going to be, again, dominating games. This is the way to get results for the rest of the season. Yeah. And I've got to get results. And I agree, like, bigger conversations, Bruno controlling the midfield. Absolutely. Absolutely. But then like this, for instance, here, MT, we are sick foeing. Well, we've gone up. we've gone up as well. And do we judge the season as to where we are in February, or do we judge it as to where we are at the end of the season? Because if we judged it as to where we are at certain points of the season, we've been lower. We've been lower.
And listen, I do want to see a style of play. I agree. I do agree. Like, we're so open every single game. And that is where Vegeta is right. Across the whole the whole thing, I do agree with that. But do you think another manager then will make Bruno more technically sound and make better decisions, and Casemiro?
No.
I don't. I think De Zerbi could turn up here tomorrow. Graham Potter could turn up here tomorrow. Thomas Tuchel could turn up here tomorrow. Whoever it is you all want instead of Ten Hag, whoever wants Ten Hag out, whoever it is you think, there is no way another manager makes Bruno and Casemiro and Rashford, play differently. Now, you might argue another manager might come in and say they're not good enough for me, so I'll get rid of them. But how do we know that's not going to happen right now in the summer? Like I said, the club is actively going to listen to offers of Casemiro. I know that. Bruno will wait and see. Do you know what I mean? Rashford will wait and see. But I don't know. I just think the type of players that we got in there ain't going to work. Anyway, what a show. What a show. We did get over 500 likes. Big up to you guys getting involved. Smash a like on the video. Full view later on this evening as well. There's going to be a lot to talk about, so do not miss that as well. It's been a pleasure. Happy Monday. Hope you guys all have a good day as well. Brilliant show. Link is in the video description below to check out Cracks Only, as I said earlier on. I will see you on another show later on tonight, because I tell you what, I think this will rumble on through the day as well. And if there's any developments with Dan Ashworth as well, we'll keep you updated on that. And I can bring you a little bit of semi-exclusive news. No, it's not semi-exclusive, just Fleck sources, Fleck contacts. Maybe we can get Sky Sports news reporter Keith Downey on the show to give us a bit more of an insight. Like I said, he knows a lot about Newcastle United. That is his forte, an expert in that field. Maybe we might be seeing Keith Downey on the channel very, very soon. Maybe, just maybe. Flex sources. Super chat there, actually. Did I miss that on the way out? No, I read that. I was just behind on that screen. There you go. All right, guys, we're out of here. Take care. Peace.